Good morning students. Today we are going to learn lecture 2, that is of area and volume measurement, that is the method of determination of areas by different methods. Some of these methods is already been taught in lecture 1. Now if you can remember the first lecture of this part, I have told how to determine area of regular as well as irregular figures or boundaries in the field. So for that we have different number of methods with which we can determine the area. Out of these methods we are dealing with computation based directly on field measurement. In this particular method we have already covered these two portions in the previous lecture by dividing the area into number of triangles and by offset to the baseline. Then this is further classified into offset at regular interval and irregular interval. For regular interval I have already explained about 4 formulas for this particular regular interval. What are they? They are the average ordinate method, mid ordinate method, Simpson rule and trapezoidal rule. With all these 4 methods you can easily determine the area of a particular field with regular intervals and irregular boundaries. While if the intervals are not regular, then also we can apply a formula which I have explained already in the lecture 1, and we can calculate the area. Now the second method is based on the latitude and departure. As you already know what is the latitude and departure, let me explain once again what is the latitude. So latitude we are measuring in the y direction and is equal to L cos theta, while departure we are measuring in x direction and is equal to L sin theta. Okay. So in this manner, with the help of latitude and departure, 4 more methods are comprised. By using any of these 4 methods we can easily calculate the area. Suppose if you have latitude and departure value or length of the survey line and bearing of the survey line values, then easily first we can calculate the latitude, which will be always equal to the L cos theta and is measured in the y axis, and departure as L sin theta in the x axis. Now the second method is based on the measurement scaled from a map. For example, if you have already have a irregular figure or of a field or irregular symbolic representation of a field, then how we can measure the areas with the help of scale distance or scaling of that figure to our map size. With the help of that we can also calculate the area. And the third method is the mechanical method, as I have explained in the previous slide also, which can be measured with the help of planimeter. So to begin with, the first method of latitude and departure, that is the meridian distance. Now in this particular method, or I can say in all the methods, first we need to determine the meridian value. This meridian value can be determined with the help of the departure measured for each station of a survey line. So here if I will say that there are 4 stations A, B, C, D, and departure, suppose if departure for each station is D1, then departure for departure for station A is 0, departure for station B is D1, then departure for station C is D3, then departure value for station D is D4. So in this manner we can see that we will first fix the reference meridian. Suppose this is the reference meridian, and we fix the reference meridian in such a manner it should pass from the most westerly station of a given traverse. For example, if this is a traverse ABCD, then the most west corner of this particular traverse is nothing but A. So from A we will pass a reference meridian from where we are going to measure all the departures. Okay. So now for measuring these departure values, we need to first determine what will be the sign convention. For example, since the departure value are measured in the x direction, which is the direction of easting westing, okay, east-west direction, so all those survey lines which are projecting towards east are considered as positive, while all those lines which are projected or going towards west are taken as negative. For example, in this present case, if I will consider line AB, then this AB is moving towards east direction, because as we already know that in all these four stations, A station is the most westerly station. So this line AB is moving towards east direction, so it will be taken as positive. Now BC, again it is moving in the east direction, so we will again take the sign of BC as positive. Then CD, line CD is now moving or turning to the west direction, therefore we will consider the departure value as negative here. And in the similar manner, DA line, we again see that it is moving towards west direction, so we will again take negative value for departure for line D. After having this basic funda in mind, now what is the next task? The next task is to determine the value of meridian for each traverse line. So first of all we should know what is the meridian. So meridian is nothing but it is a distance of any traverse. Suppose of this is, I will consider this point, then it is the distance of that point to the reference meridian, which is measured at the right angle. Okay. For example, if I will consider this point 2, I want to determine the value of meridian for this point 2, then I can say that the value of meridian at 2 will be the distance from the reference meridian, where it will be at right angle to the reference meridian. Okay. So in this manner we can calculate the meridian values for all the different points which we are going to take in a closed traverse. Sometimes this meridian distance is also known as longitude for a particular traverse, and this meridian distance of a given survey line or traverse line will always be the midpoint. Okay. It will not be like that we can consider point here or anywhere. It will actually lies at the mid of the traverse line. So now let us determine the value of meridian for each point. Okay, for each point in this traverse. Now suppose if I will consider this traverse, and since A is the most westerly station, so this will be the reference meridian. Okay. Now for AB, for line AB, the value of meridian at point 1, which will be the midpoint of this traverse line, is equal to, it will be equal to what? It will be equal to the distance or the meridian distance of station A and the distance covered up to this point. So we can see here up to this point the distance covered is 0, since it is at the reference only, plus half d1 by half d1. So it will be equal to d1 by 2. Now I want to calculate the meridian distance for 2. So it will be equal to what? It will be equal to, in this case, somewhere here. So it will be equal to meridian of point 1, which is equal to d1 by 2, plus this distance plus this distance. After going through here, through this path, then only we are going to reach at point 2. So in terms of measurement we can say that value of meridian at point 2 or M2 will be equal to m1, that is d1 by 2, plus d1 by 2, this distance, plus this distance, mid distance of further line BC, that is half d2. So in total m2 will be equal to, in this manner, m1 plus d1 by 2 plus d2 by 2. Now one thing which we have to be very careful about is the sign convention of the departure whatever we are taking. So here we can see that for d1, as I have told already, that it is moving towards east direction, so we are taking d1 as positive. For d2, it is also moving towards east direction, so we are taking the value of d2 as positive. Now I need to determine the midpoint or meridian at 3. So the meridian value at 3 will be calculated as what? For example, if I want to reach at this point 3, I have to travel this traverse line, then I have to travel this traverse line up to here. Okay, so we will add all the distances of the meridian which are coming on our way up to that particular point. So here if I want to calculate the value of m3, which will be equal to value of m2 plus, as we have already determined the value of m2. Okay, so now this value of m2 means we have covered this traverse line and up to here, this distance. So this is already covered and is known as m2. So m2 plus half d2 by 2, this distance. Now again this is the half of d3 distance, okay, departure 3. So we need to calculate this particular value and it will be equal to d3 by 2 with the sign negative. Why negative? Because now we are moving in the west direction. So here you can see that m3 will be equal to m2 plus d2 by 2 minus d3 by 2. Now for point m4. Now m4 will be equal to what? M4 point or meridian will be equal to, if I will cover this traverse by traveling from A to B, B to C, C to D, then from D to this point. Okay. So it means up to m3 we have already calculated. We don't have any doubt up to this part. So now this value we will take as it is. Okay. So this value, like from AB to BC to this point, is equal to m3. So m3 minus d3 by 2. Why minus? Because we are again going towards west direction. Then minus d4 by 2. Why d4 by 2? Because we are again going in negative direction towards the west direction. So it will be equal to m3 minus d3 by 2 minus d4 by 2. Okay. Or we can say in a simpler manner that it can be equal to the d4 by 2 itself. How d4 by 2? Because here if you will cover this distance from here, okay, or you can say it will be only d4 by 2 from the reference meridian. So it is equated to d4 by 2. So in this manner the meridian distance of any line is equal to meridian distance of the previous line plus departure of the previous line by 2 plus departure of the coming line by 2. Okay. So in this manner we will calculate meridian distance. Now how to calculate the area? As I have already told that on the basis of these four methods, that is meridian distance, double meridian distance, departure and total latitude and double parallel distance, we are going to use the value of latitude and departure for each case, and then we are determining the areas of a given field or traverse. So first of all, with the help of departure we have to determine the meridian distance. Then in order to determine the area we need to multiply calculated meridian distances with the value of latitude for each stations. Okay. So let's move to next part, that is how to calculate the area from these latitude and meridian distances. Now east-west lines will be drawn from each station to the reference meridian. Then in this manner we are getting either a trapezium or a triangle. So area of triangle of the traverse in this particular case, suppose I need to determine the area of this traverse, so it will be equal how? It will be calculated as area of DD CC plus area of CC BB minus area of triangle DDA minus area of triangle ABB. Means measuring this trapezoidal area and this trapezoidal area CCBB, after determining the area of these two, we can deduct this particular triangle area and this triangle area from the total area, and we can get the required figure, area of the required figure. So here we have done nothing, just area of the traverse has been calculated. Now area will be equal to always latitude of that line into meridian distance of that particular line. Okay, so for example, here if I am considering this particular area, okay, this particular part, that is DDCC. So DDCC is a trapezium, and so the area will be equal to, in this case, what will be the area? The area we will calculate as 1 by 2 sum of the parallel sides, which will be D4 plus this line, and it is equal to D4 plus D3 into height, which will be equal to CD value. Okay, we can calculate it. Now in this manner we will calculate area of each triangle and trapezium, which will be equal to latitude of the line and meridian distance of the line. So in DDCC, if you can see here, DDCC, okay, this particular trapezium, either you can calculate the area of this trapezium, or you can say that the meridian distance for this particular case into the latitude value will be equal to area. So here the latitude value, that is L1, will be equal to what? Here we can say that the latitude value will be equal to, say, L3, okay, here, and this is the latitude value. If you can see from the figure, this will be the latitude value, okay. So L3 into M3 for this particular case. In the similar manner, for this figure CCBB, the value of latitude we are considering here are L4, M4, okay. But now you can see for this particular case, the value of L4 is taken as negative. Why negative? Because we have already seen that for in the case of latitude, if the value is moving, or we can say if the value is representing towards southing direction, then it will be considered as negative, while if it will be considered in a positive direction, then we can say that latitude value we are going to take as positive. So for the similar reason, what we will do? We will just calculate all the areas, okay, in the similar manner, and then we will determine the total area of the traverse by taking the algebraic sum. Hope you people are clear with this concept, how to determine the area, okay. So in this manner we can find out the value of required traverse. The second method is the double meridian distance method. So double meridian means, in the first method we have calculated the value of meridian. Now if we double this particular value, we can say it as a double meridian. Okay, we just need to twice the value of meridian. So in this manner we need to calculate the double meridian distance, which is represented by m, and it will be a line which is equal to the sum of the meridian distance of the two extremities. Okay, so now suppose for example for line AB, if I will consider, I need to calculate the double meridian distance of AB, and so it will be equal to the sum of the meridian distance of the extremities, which is A and B. So it means double meridian distance of line AB will be equal to meridian distance of line A plus meridian distance of line B. So meridian distance of line A is 0 here. Now the meridian distance of line B will be D1. So it is taken as 0 plus D1, which is D1 only, as the departure of AB, or we can say double meridian distance of first line AB. Now for second line BC, if you can see here, the double meridian distance of line BC will be equal to meridian distance of B plus meridian distance of C, that is sum of the meridian distance of the two extremities, which is B and C in this particular case. So some meridian distance for B will be equal to D1, as we have already calculated in the first step meridian of B, which will be equal to D1. Now meridian of C. So if I have to reach this point, I need to cover this part and then I need to cover this part. So meridian of C will be equal to D1. It will be equal to D1 plus D2. Okay, D1 plus D2. So in this manner we will determine the meridian of C, double meridian distance. Now double meridian distance of line CD. Now double meridian distance of line CD will be equal to meridian distance of point C plus meridian distance of point D. Now meridian distance of point C will be equal to meridian distance of previous point, that is M2. Okay, meridian distance of point BC, M2, plus the next meridian distance, which will be equal to the D2 minus D3. Okay, so we will calculate it in the same manner for CD. Okay, for example, to reach up to here we need to move from AB, then BC, then CD. So for C we can easily calculate, we have to move from AB then BC, which will be equal to double meridian distance of point C, which is equal to D1 plus D2. And now for reaching at D we need to calculate as D1. Okay, this D1 plus D2. Now since we are moving towards west direction, so it will be taken as negative as in the previous method, so minus D3. So D1 plus D2 means we are going from here covering D1, from B to C covering D2, and then we are moving towards D for determining the meridian distance of D. So in this manner we will determine double meridian distance of line CD. M3 will be equal to D1 plus D2, which will be the meridian distance of point C, plus D1 plus D2 minus D3, which will be equal to meridian distance of point D, and it will be equal to M2 plus D2 minus D3. In the similar manner for line 4, here we can calculate the double meridian distance. So double meridian distance for line AD will be equal to double meridian distance of point D plus double meridian distance of point A. So for here we can say for determining the meridian distance of D, we need to travel, or we need to cover AB, BC, then CD, then only we can reach to point D. So for D the meridian distance will be calculated as D1 plus D2 minus D3, then we will reach at point D. And for A it will be again equal to D1 plus D2 minus D3 and then minus D4. So in this manner we will calculate the from the meridian distance of the two approximities. Okay, from the meridian distance of two extremities we will calculate the value of double meridian distance. So what formula we are getting as a common term in this particular case? We are getting it as, if I need to determine double meridian distance of any particular line, then it will be equal to double meridian distance of the preceding line plus departure of the preceding line plus departure of the line itself. And now what is the difference between double meridian distance method and the meridian distance method? Here you can see that we are not taking half distance. Okay, we are not considering this particular half point, rather we are considering double meridian distance, means double distance, or we can say full length. Here in the previous case we are just measuring the length up to midpoints, like up to 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is the basic difference. Now how to calculate the area? So area of, suppose if I want to calculate the area of this particular part or this particular trapezium, DDCC. So how to calculate the area of this portion? I will first calculate the area of DDCC, then I will calculate the area of CCBB, and then I will deduct the area of triangle DAD, and then I will deduct the area of triangle ABB. So in this manner I will get only the required area of a given traverse. So it will be equal to area of DDCC. If I will consider the first part, it will be equal to half double meridian distance of this line CD, okay, this line CD, and into L3, that is the latitude value. Okay, similarly we can determine the value of each of the figure or each of the area here. Okay, and then at last we just need to sum up of all the areas. We have to take algebraic sum of all the areas, keeping in mind all the sign conventions for latitude and departure. The third method is area from departure and total latitude. So here we don't need to bother about any of the meridian or double meridian distance, rather we just need to calculate the total latitude of a particular point and algebraic sum of the adjacent departure. For example, if this particular figure is given and we need to determine the area of this particular traverse, okay, so now what I will do, I will first try to determine area of triangle ABB plus area of, if I will join this part, area of BBCC, okay, which is a parallelepiped, BBCC, then area of DDCC, okay, plus area of DDA. So now you can see here that this particular area, okay, this particular area is coming 2 times. We are considering this area 2 times, as it is coming 2 times in the formula. So we just don't need to worry about that we are considering a particular portion twice in our formula, because with the help of the proper sign convention of the latitude values and the departure values, we will only left out with the required traverse area. Okay, so in this particular case for triangle ABB, if you can see, we will determine the total latitude of that point, which will be equal to L1, because here in this case for ABB area the latitude value at this point will be 0. Okay, so only this will be considered, this latitude, but as you can see here the value of latitude is in negative direction. Okay, or I can say it is projecting towards the southing, so we are considering this L1 as negative. So 0 minus L1 here multiplied by d1 distance. Okay, now if the reference meridian is considered here, then we are going towards from A to B, which is towards the direction of easting, so I am taking it as positive. Now in the similar manner, if you can see here second figure, which is area of BBCC. So area of BBCC will be equal to, we don't need to bother about the area of what geometric figure these particular lines are making. We don't need to bother about the geometrical figures formed by these latitude lines. We just need to calculate the area by multiplying departure and total latitude value. So in this particular case of BBCC, this particular figure, we can say L1 is in negative direction while L2 will be is in positive direction. So what we can take? We can take minus L1 plus L2, okay, into D2 value, that is the value of departure. So in this manner we can calculate the area of this part. Now third is the area of DCCD. In this particular case, you can see L2 dash and L3 dash both are in northern direction, so it will both are taken as positive. So L2 dash plus L3 dash into this particular value, which will be equal to D3, okay, DC value will be equal to departure 3, D3 of this line, okay. So D3, and now for the fourth figure, which will be equal to in this case, since it is positive and the latitude at point A is 0, so L3 dash minus 0 into D4. This is the departure value for this line, okay. So in this manner we can calculate with the help of proper sign conventions, we can calculate the area from departure and total latitude value, which will be equal to half the algebraic summation of total latitude of a point into algebraic summation of two adjacent departure, okay. So now, because after rearranging this particular term, you can left with this particular thing, so this particular formula. So here you can say that latitude of a given point into algebraic sum of the two adjacent departure. So we can apply these formulas like adjacent departure D1, D2, D2, D3, D3, D4 and total latitude of that particular point. So in this manner you can easily calculate the area of a given traverse with the help of departure and total latitude. Now the fourth method is the double parallel distance method. In this DPD method, we need to determine the parallel distance of any line, which will be always equal to the midpoint from a reference parallel. In almost all the methods which we have discussed till now, we are forming a reference meridian which is passing from extreme westerly coordinate or extreme westerly station. But here in this case we are plotting, or we are taking an axis known as reference parallel to the extreme southerly part. From here, from in this figure we can say that B lies in the extreme south, and so from here we can take or mark a reference parallel. From this reference parallel we are now calculating different values for each station A, D and C. So generally it will be the parallel distance is generally a right angle or perpendicular to the reference parallel, like the distance from C to here, it will be perpendicular to reference parallel, okay. Similarly, line from D to B, similarly line from A to B. Now this reference parallel is always perpendicular to the reference meridian, okay, or we can say reference, we can say here perpendicular to the reference parallel and parallel to the reference meridian. So DPD value will be equal to 2 times parallel distance of the line, and it will be equal to sum of the parallel distances of the two ends of the line. Or in other words, we can say that the area will be calculated as, if we have determined the value of P for each case, then after multiplying it by D departure, we can calculate the value of area. Okay. So in this manner, we can say that with any of the four methods, we can easily calculate the area of a given traverse. Now, when we solve numerical on the basis of these methods, it will be very clear to you people. So let's begin to solve this numerical. Suppose we need to determine the area of the traverse shown in this figure. Okay, we need to calculate the area of this traverse by all the three methods, that is meridian distance method, double meridian distance method, and double parallel distance method. From here you can see how to calculate the meridian, double meridian, and parallel distance for each case. Okay, so let us solve this numerical first by the meridian distance method. So in this case, we need to determine the value of meridian for each traverse line. Here 4 stations are there, A, B, C, D, and 4 traverse lines are there, A, B, B, C, C, D, and D. Now meridian, suppose the meridian points are located as 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively. So now we need to calculate the value of meridian 1, which is equal to M1. So it will be equal to just half distance of this line. Okay. So if the departure value will be 100, then here meridian will be equal to D1 by 2, which is equal to 50. Now if I will say, if I need to determine the meridian value of D2, means if I need to reach at this point, then I need to cover this point. I need to cover this line AB. Okay, first I need to cover this line AB, and then I need to cover this line up to 2. So meridian of 2.2 will be equal to, up to here we have calculated, that is 50, plus again D1 by 2, that is again 50. Okay, this value is again 50, plus D2 by 2, which will be equal to again 50. So here we are getting the value as 150. Now we are going to calculate the value M3 for the third line CD. So in order to calculate the meridian distance for station 3 or for point 3, we have to travel this distance AB, then we need to travel BC, and then we need to come upon third point 3. So how to calculate? We are knowing the value up to 2, which is equal to M2. Okay, so we are knowing it is equal to 150. Now again we have to move to point C from 2. So it will be equal to plus 50, or we can say plus D2 by 2. So here it will be equal to 50. So plus 50. Now here you can see this line for point 3, we are moving back to the west direction. So in this case we will take minus 50. The direction will change. So it will be equal to 150 plus 50 and minus 50. Now for case 4, if you need to calculate the meridian, so first you need to cover this distance, this distance, this distance, and this distance. Or you can say you just need to, you are having this particular value, meridian 3 value, then you need to move from up to here, then up to here. So if I from M3, if I am going this side, then again I am moving towards the west direction, which then again I have to take minus 50 value for the same. Okay, so it will be taken as minus 50 because this particular distance as the total is equal to 100. So this distance will be equal to 100 by 2, which will be equal to minus 50. So minus 50, and then we are again moving towards the west direction. So again up to here we are taking the minus 50 value. Okay, so in this manner 150 minus 50 and then minus 50. So in this manner for each line we have the meridian distance 50, 150, 150, 50, and now we have to consider the value of latitude. So latitude for line AB will be, as you can see, it will be 100, but if the reference line or is going from here, then this particular AB is coming down, or I can say it is coming towards the south pole, so we can say that it is considered as negative. Now from BC, if you can say the value of latitude, now it is going towards the north direction, so I can say that I have to take positive sign for this particular case, so plus 100. Now again for latitude for third point, we can see again it is moving in the north direction, so we will again take the positive sign for the same. For DA, we can see that it is moving towards the southern direction, so we are taking the negative sign. In this manner, we will calculate the value of meridian distance and we will take the value of latitude with proper sign convention. Then we will just need to multiply both these terms with the proper sign convention. So we are getting all these values, and then we will determine the area, which will be equal to the algebraic sum of the product, and which will be equal to 20,000. Suppose here we are getting positive values, means 30,000 minus 5,000 minus 5,000. Suppose if we are getting a negative value from a negative net value of the product, then also we have to ignore that negative value, because for area the negative value have no relevance. Okay, so in this manner we will calculate the area of this particular traverse, which is equal to 20,000 meter square, or we can say 2 hectares. Now again we will determine this particular area of the traverse with the help of double meridian distance method. So in double meridian distance method, we need to determine the double meridian distance. In this method we have determined meridian distance. Now we need to calculate the double meridian distance. So for double meridian distance, we are representing it with capital M, and it will be equal to AB. Suppose for first line it will be equal to 100. Now for BC, if I need to move towards BC line, then I first need to cover AB line, then I need to go from B to C. So double meridian distance of BC will be equal to meridian distance of B plus meridian distance of C. So meridian distance of B will be 100, but the meridian distance of C will be this 100 plus this 100. Okay, so it will be equal to M1, or meridian distance up to B, plus 100 plus 100, which will be equal to 300. Now you can see meridian distance for point D. So meridian distance for point D will be equal to, first we need to move up to this direction, then this direction, and then we need to come to point D. Or we can say double meridian distance of line CD will be equal to meridian distance of C plus meridian distance of D. So meridian distance of C will be equal to 300, okay, which we have already calculated here. Okay, so it will be equal to 300. Now meridian distance of D will be equal to this part, okay, this part minus 100. Okay, so we can say that the meridian distance will be equal to, in this case for point D, will be minus 100. Whatever we have calculated, we need to go back. Okay, so in this manner meridian distance of point D will be equal to meridian distance meridian double distance will be equal to meridian distance of C plus meridian distance of D. Now meridian distance of C will be 100 plus, or we can say B plus this value. Okay, so it will be equal to 100 plus 100, and then meridian distance of this particular value at D, it will be equal to 100 plus 100 and then minus 100. Okay, so it will be equal to, by calculating it will come as 300. Now suppose I need to calculate the meridian distance for line 4, M4. So double meridian distance of line DA or point 4 will be equal to meridian distance of D plus meridian distance of A. Now meridian distance of D is already calculated as 300, or I can say M3 value, and it again in order to reach here, what we need to do? We just need to deduct the value. So we need to deduct the value, like if we are coming towards D, we need to deduct the value 100, this 100, in order to reach point A. Okay, so here we done the same thing. We had deducted the minus 100 value to reach at point A. So in this manner we have calculated the value as 100 for M4. Okay, so here we are getting it like that. If I feel it is very simple and you people are clear with how to calculate the double meridian distance. I can repeat it again. For example, double meridian distance for M1 for line 1 is equal to this meridian distance here up to here, which will be equal to 100. Then meridian distance of C, BC line will be equal to meridian distance of B plus meridian distance of C. So meridian distance of B will be 100 and meridian distance of C will be 100 plus 100, which will be equal to 300. Now meridian distance of CD will be equal to meridian distance of C plus meridian distance of D. So meridian distance of C will be meridian distance of C will be 100 plus 100, which is 200, minus meridian distance of D. So it will be equal to plus 100 plus 100 minus 100, like 200 minus 100, which will be equal to 100. So 200 plus again 200 minus 100 for reaching to D, then it will give me 300 values. In the same manner for line 4, the meridian double meridian distance will be equal to meridian distance of A and meridian distance of point D. So it will be equal to, for meridian distance of D we will say 100 plus 100, okay, then minus 100. So it means 200 minus 100 means we are only left with 100 part, and then we need to deduct this value as we are moving down. So in this manner we can calculate for A, and for A the meridian distance will be, we are traveling here 100, then again 100, okay, then we are moving, we are getting the value as we are moving back, so it is minus 100, and then we are again moving back, so it is again minus 100. So in this manner we can calculate the value of M1, M2, M3, M4. The next step is to determine the proper sign convention for the total latitude value. So total latitude value in this particular case you can see here. For example, for the first line we are moving towards the south direction, so negative latitude, positive direction, so positive latitude, again positive latitude, and then again negative latitude. So here in this figure you can say negative latitude, positive, positive, and then again negative. So after that we will just do the product of these two quantities, and if we will take the half the area of the product, then we are left with the area of the required traverse with the help of double meridian distance method. But you can see the difference here. We are not taking half the summation of the product, but here in this method we are taking half the summation of the product. So these are few basic things we need to put in mind while applying different formulas. So now the third method is by double parallel distance method. In this particular method, rather than calculating the meridian values from the reference meridian, we need to calculate the parallel value from the reference parallel. So in this case you can see for line AB, BC, CD and DA. Okay, so for line AB, suppose this line AB, for line AB the parallel distance will be equal to 100, okay, but it is in negative direction, so as it is moving down, so we have taken here P1 100, and we will calculate P2 values, which will be equal to again 100, okay. Now P3 values, which will be again equal to 100 plus 100 plus 100, which will be equal to 300. Now how this 300 is coming? See, for the value for the third line, okay, for this particular line we need to calculate the value. So for reaching up to here, we first need to cover this distance, okay, then again we need to cover this distance, so 100 for going down, then 100 again, then here also for this particular line 100 again to reaching this point. So 100 plus 100 plus 100, and now for line DA, which will be equal to again value 300, okay. So in this manner we will calculate the value of parallel distances from a reference parallel, and then we just need to calculate the value of departure according to proper sign convention, okay, and then we will calculate the product. See here, the basic difference is that for doing the product for the meridian methods we are taking latitude value, but here we are considering latitude values in calculating the parallel distances and departure values in calculating the main area, okay. So departure value sign conventions you also have to keep in your mind for the departure value sign convention. So all those departure values which are moving in the east direction are taken as positive. For example, line 1 and line 2 are going towards east direction, so positive, while line 3 and line 4 are moving towards west direction, so negative. So you can see here 1 and 2 is positive and 3 and 4 is negative, okay. So just take the product of these two, and then algebraic sum of these, half of the algebraic sum of this product will give you the area. Because now you can see here we are getting minus 60,000 plus 20,000 means minus 20,000 as an algebraic sum, but here there is no we are getting minus 40,000 in total as an algebraic sum, but here this negative sign of the summation or the area having no relevance, so we are just ignoring that negative sign from the area. So the area is coming as half the product, which will be equal to 2 hectares value. Hope these methods are clear to you. You just need to be very careful about calculating the double parallel distances, about calculating the double meridian distances and the meridian distances. If you have any confusion in calculating these distances, kindly let me know. I will explain it further with the help of more examples. Now the other method is, the third method is with the help of latitude and departure. Under that we have learned the 4 methods. We have determined how to calculate the area by using these 4 methods. Now the fourth one is the by coordinate method. If you can see here this particular, now we have covered all these things. Now we are moving towards by coordinate methods. So this is very important method to calculate the area. Now you can say it is more better than the meridian distances method for calculating the area, because chances of mistakes are very less in this case, and also a less effort is required. So here if I need to calculate the area of ABCD traverse, I can say that area of AABB, see here, area of this particular dotted line AABB, this trapezoid, plus area of BBCC, okay, minus area of this trapezoidal CDDC minus area of this trapezoid DDAE. If I will calculate all these values, I can easily determine the area of the required traverse. Now in this particular coordinate method, the area are calculated on the basis of the independent coordinates of the point, as we have used this method to determine the latitude and departure also. So let us see how to calculate the area for this particular method. In this method, as you can see, the area of AABB will be equal to half the sum of parallel distances, which is equal to x2 plus x1 into height, which will be here AB, and is equal to y2 minus y1. Okay, so this term we get from here, plus now the area for the BBCC. Okay, so here the area will be half into sum of the parallel sides, which will be x3 plus x2 here, into height, which will be equal to BC, which will be equal to y3 minus y2. See here. Okay, now we need to deduct the area of these two trapezoid from here. So these the area of trapezoid CCD, D will be equal to half sum of the parallel sides, which will be equal to x3 plus x4, into distance or height, which will be equal to CD, which will be equal to y1 minus y4. Okay, so you can see here we have done y1 minus y4. We need to calculate it like that. Okay, now I have made a small mistake here. Let me correct it. It will be equal to y1 minus y4. Just a minute. Not y4 minus y1. Okay. Yeah. It will be equal to y1 minus y4. Yeah. So y1 minus y4, we will get this height. Again, we need to deduct the area of this particular trapezium, DDAA. So the area of this trapezium will be half the sum of the parallel sides, which will be equal to x4 plus x1 into height, which is AD, and which will be equal to height AD will be equal to y4 minus y1. Okay, so you can see here this height. Yeah, y4 minus y1. Yeah, 1 minute. This term I have written correctly. Yeah, and this term will be written after, suppose, here. In this manner. Now it will be correct formula. So here this value is y3. Okay, this is y3. So now you can see here we will calculate the area of trapezium, and we will determine the value of the required traverse. Now if I will say again, if I will multiply all the terms or in the x-axis and y-axis, we will calculate as y2x1 plus y2x2 minus y1x1 minus y1x2 plus y3x2 y3x3 minus y2x2 minus y2x2. In this manner you need to multiply all these terms, and this 2 will be transferred here, so it will be 2a equal to the following term. Or in the similar, if you will arrange all these terms together, then you can find 2a will be equal to x1 y2 plus x2 y3 plus x3 y4 plus x4 y1 minus y1 x2 plus y2 x3 plus y3 x4 plus y4 x1. So the good thing you can see here in this particular formula will be equal to, see only the x values, so coordinates are 1, 2, 3 and 4, and for y values the coordinates are 2, 3, 4 and 1. In the similar manner you can see here the coordinates are, for y values it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and for x values it is 2, 3, 4, 1. So we can say that we will multiply, we will write all the coordinates like this: x1, x2, x3, x4, then x1, then y1, y2, y3, y4, y1. So we will just multiply x1 y2 plus x2 y3 plus x3 y4 plus x4 y1. You can see from here, minus y1 x2 plus y2 x3 plus y3 x4 plus y4 x1. You can see from here. So in this manner, in order to remember, or in order to make it simple, we can just write all the value of coordinates in this manner, and with the help of a dotted and solid line we can just determine the value of area in terms of these coordinate system. So if I will say consider this particular term as P and this particular term as Q, so 2a will be equal to summation of P minus summation of Q. Or we can also do one thing, we can just take out the common value of y1, and we can see here, if we will take the value y1, then x2 minus x4, x3 minus x1, x4 minus x1 and x4 minus x2. So with the help of these terms we can play around with the coordinates and we can determine the value of area easily. Okay. So now let us solve this particular numerical with the help of coordinate method. So here the latitude and departure of the line of a closed traverse are given below, and we need to determine the area of the traverse. So in order to calculate the area of the traverse, since in all the direction the values are given, and we have already studied that the departure value will be equal to, or I can say will always be given as in the x direction, and it is in the east-west direction. So this easting-westing will give us departure value, and northing-southing will give us latitude value. Okay. So let us move to the solution table. So what we need to do, we just need to put all the lines A, B, B, C, C, D, D, A. Okay. And then for latitude, as I have already told, that we need to consider northing and southing for latitude and easting and westing for the departure value. So latitude value will be, since it is southing 157.2, which we will take as negative latitude because it is in southing, so minus 157.2, plus 210.5 as it is, plus 175.4 as it is, but here again 228.7 is towards southing, so we are considering it in the latitude column as with the negative value. Now for calculating the departure from easting and westing, this is taken as it is positive, 52.5 is taken as it is positive. Now this 98.3 will be negative because it is in towards the west direction, and this will also be considered as negative taking in the west direction. So now after getting all the values of latitude and departure for different lines, we need to calculate the independent coordinates x and y for each station. So here we can mark each station as A, B, C, D and again A, because this is a closed traverse. It is already mentioned in the question. So now suppose if the origin of the independent coordinate is taken as 0, 0, then we can say we need to determine the coordinates of all other stations. So the coordinate of station B will be minus 157.2 plus 154.8. The coordinate of station C will be equal to minus 157.2 plus 210.5, which will be equal to 53.3, and 154.8 plus 52.5, which will be equal to plus 207.3. Similarly, for independent coordinates at station D, it will be equal to 175.4 plus 53.3, which will be equal to 228.7, and minus 98.3 plus 207.3 will be equal to plus 109.0. Similarly, for station A, or we can say again reaching to the same station, we can say it as 5, we will see minus 228.7 plus 228.7 will be coming as 0, and minus 109 plus 109 will be coming as 0. So since here 0 value is coming, it means no closure error is there, or zero closure error is there. So the traverse is perfectly closed and we are getting these coordinates, independent coordinates. Now the third thing we need to do is to determine the area. Now for area, as we have already learned in the previous slide here, that twice of the area will be equal to summation of P minus summation of Q. And now we have all the four coordinate with us in the x direction, that is x1, x2, x3, x4 values, and we have all the y coordinates, y1, y2, y3 and y4 values. So we will determine summation P and summation Q value separately, and then we will determine the area. So how to determine the values? See here, we have got all the coordinates for x-axis and for y-axis. We have written this in this manner. Now summation P will be equal to what? Summation P will be equal to 0 into plus 154.8 plus 53.3 into 109.0. Okay, you can see from here 0 into 154.8, see here, okay, minus 157 into 207.3 plus 53.3 into 109.0 plus 228.7 into 0.0. Okay, so here we can calculate summation of P. Now summation of Q will be equal to 0 into minus 157.2 plus 154.8 into 53.3 plus 207.3 into 228.7 plus 109.0 into 0, means following all the dotted line. Okay, like here, then this, then this, then this. All the dotted line will give me summation of Q values and all the solid line will give me summation of P values. So summation of P values will be multiplication of these two terms minus multiplication of these two terms plus multiplication of these two terms and multiplication of these two terms. So in this manner you can calculate the value of 2a, and which is coming, which we can calculate, and you will get the answer as somewhat like this. Okay, so I feel it is very easy to calculate the value of area with the help of the latitude and departure. You just need to determine the proper sign convention of latitude and departure. Then you need to determine the independent coordinates of x and y, coordinates of each traverse line or each station, and then you need to determine the value of summation of P and summation of Q. So in this manner you can easily calculate the value of area for the desired traverse. Now the second method is method which is based on the measurement scaled from a map. In this particular method we just need to divide the whole area into a subdivisions. So these subdivisions could be any type of geometrical figure, either it could be a triangle, a square, a rectangle, anything. Okay, or the second one is the by subdivision into square. So what we need to do, if I am dividing it in the subdivision of square, then I need to calculate the value of each square. Okay, so how to do that? How to calculate the value of each square? In this particular case we need to follow certain steps. So in this particular case we need to have a tracing paper in which squares are drawn and each square is representing a unit area. So this tracing paper we will take and we will put it on a particular drawing, and then we will simply count the number of squares enclosed in that particular figure, and then we will also calculate the position of some of the fractional squares which are coming at the curved boundaries. Suppose here, okay, here some fraction of the squares are coming. So we will calculate these fraction of squares separately and the total squares separately. So after determining this fraction, the total area of the figure will be equal to total number of the squares multiplied by the area or the factor. So in this manner we can determine the area of the square. The third method is by dividing the area into trapezoids, or we can say it is also known as by equalizing line method. So in this particular method we just need to draw a number of parallel lines in a tracing paper at a constant distance. After making that parallel lines, we also need to draw the midpoint, the midline of these parallel lines. See, you can see here in the tracing paper we have plotted the parallel lines with the same breadth, constant breadth, and then we are dividing each rectangle again in the dotted line. Okay, so this dotted line will then represent a mid-ordinate value. So the constant between the consecutive parallel lines will represented some distance in the meter or links or chain, which whatever we have taken. Now the mid lines or mid-ordinate between each pair of line is drawn from the different colors, or we can say in the dotted manner. This particular tracing paper is then placed over a drawing in such a manner that the traverse which is observed in the field will come across or will be coming exactly between the two parallel lines. Suppose here you can see that this figure is coming exactly between two parallel lines. So the area is exactly enclosed between the parallel lines, and this figure is then divided into a number of strips. Okay, so now assuming that the strips are either the shape of rectangle or the trapezoid, we need to calculate the area of each strip, which will be equal to the length of the mid-ordinate value, and constant breadth. This is the constant breadth. Suppose it is A. So this is the constant breadth. So here constant breadth, suppose A, then summation of the length of the mid-ordinate value. Okay, so it will with the help of this method you can easily calculate the total sum of the intercepted dotted lines, and we will multiply it with the constant breadth in order to get the required area. So if you need to achieve more accuracy, what we can do? We can divide, or we can take these parallel lines somewhat more closer, as closer, or you can say as fine rectangles you are making here, you will get more accurate area. Okay, so in this manner we can calculate the values of area with the help of scaling down the distances or measurement of a map in the required figure or geometrical shapes. Now let us try to complete these exercise. I am giving this exercise as a part of your homework, or I can say it is a assignment only. So just try to solve these 4 questions. These are very simple, based on the in the previous lecture of part 1 of the unit 4. Okay, so just try to determine the answer and mail me what answers you have got for all these 4 numericals. So if you have any doubt in these numerical, let me ask, and whoever is giving me correct answer first, who have solved these numerical first and give me the correct answer by either through email, so I will give some reward in terms of marks. Okay, so just try to solve these numericals, okay, by yourself, and let me know if any doubt you people are having in this lecture or in the previous lecture. So in the coming lecture we are going to cover how to calculate the volume of a given area, and also how to determine the area by the mechanical method, that is by using a planimeter. Okay, so we are going to cover all these part in the next lecture. Till then, please try to solve all these numerical based on the 4 methods which I have discussed today, and also based on the formulas of lecture 1. And yeah, stay safe. Thank you.